Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The hay is in the barn. The deep dives have been done on all these college football teams. Now we're starting to break down some games. Looking forward to week one of the college football season. And we're starting with Toledo going on the road to Illinois. And I normally don't give my pick right off the bat, but I'm going to say this right now. Love Illinois in this spot. 9.5-point favorites. And this has nothing to do with me not liking Toledo or down on Toledo. This has me a lot more looking at this Illinois team, looking at what Brett Bielema has done with this program, the identity that he's built, and just being a massive fan of Illinois heading into 2023. We're going to break down some of the key statistics to take a look at heading into this game. Now, before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support during these deep dives have been absolutely awesome. Now it's time to break down these picks. So, one, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. That helps the boys out in a big way. But more importantly, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, what your take is on this game. Love chop. That's the best part about doing these, is chopping it up with you guys about these games. So drop your pick in the comment section. Again, appreciate y'all rocking with the boys like you have. And to get into why I love Illinois, specifically in this spot so much, you take a look at what Toledo was really good at last year. They had an elite secondary, and they got really good quarterback play. And that's a Toledo team that returns a ton of production, won the MAC last year. But in terms of the matchup, I mean, I think Illinois just matches up against this Toledo team really, really well. Now, starting with Illinois on the defensive side of the ball, Toledo's going to want to run the football. They were a team that was not very efficient passing the ball, a 55% completion percentage. That's 110th nationally. And this Illinois team, you look at the front seven, I struggle to see where Toledo has success running the football. Right. And you take a look at who they have in Illinois. If you have questions on the defense, it might be all the talent that leaves in the secondary that we'll talk about in a second. The question marks you don't have about this Illinois team are what they have in the front seven, potentially one of the best defensive lines in the country. Obviously, Johnny Newton, one of, if not the best interior defensive lineman in the country. Keith Randolph, Gabe Yakis, Tariq Barnes, Seth Coleman. Not only are they really talented, but they're really deep. And you can see Brett Bielema's identity kind of coming to fruition with this Illinois team, because they are loaded on both sides of the trenches. But this Illinois front seven, really, really solid. And again, this is a Toledo team that's going to want to run the football. That's kind of their identity too. And I just think the talent differential, the star power differential, I struggle to see Toledo running the football. Now in the secondary, if you were to have question marks about this Illinois defense, it would be the secondary. Obviously, you lose Ryan Walters, but I mean, just as importantly, you lose guys like Sidney Brown and Devon Witherspoon, who were all playing in the NFL heading into 2023. Yes, there are questions in the secondary, but I still think the secondary is very good. Maybe they're just not as good as what you saw in 2022. Take a look at what they have back. Tavion Nicholson, probably just not getting enough buzz because of other guys in that secondary room. He is one of the better cornerbacks in the Big Ten. You go out and get Demetrius Hill in the transfer portal, a freshman All-American last year for FIU. This Illinois team, one, even if you do have question marks about the secondary, I struggle to see Toledo, a team that struggled throwing the football in the MAC last year, to really hurt this Illinois defense. And then two, if you do want to drop back and throw the football, I mean, this pass rush for Illinois is going to absolutely get after it. So kind of looking at the Toledo offense matched up against this Illinois defense, for me, I think it's strength versus weakness, and it's really hard to see this Toledo team manufacturing drives and scoring points. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, you might have some question marks about this Illinois team, but I'm going to say, and partially the reason why I'm so high on Illinois heading into 2023, let's start with the quarterback position. You lose Tommy DeVito, and this is not a knock on Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito took care of the football, made the passes you needed to make. That being said, if there was a flaw with this Illinois offense, it was really attacking the deeper third, right? Hitting those explosive plays. I think they have the wide receivers to do it, which we'll talk about. But Luke Altmaier, I mean, this dude was a four-star recruit, a very highly coveted player, went to Ole Miss, was recruited by all sorts of SEC teams. I think Luke Altmaier brings a little bit more juice in terms of pushing the ball down the field vertically. And you take a look at the wide receivers. I mean, Isaiah Williams, one of the twitchiest players in the country. You have a big body in Pat Bryant, who I really think could have a breakout year. Casey Washington has played a ton of football. And then you talk about true freshman Malik Elzy, who's getting a lot of buzz during fall camp. This is probably as talented of a wide receiver room as we've seen for Illinois. And I think Luke Altmaier, although maybe not proven, probably more talented than a guy in Tommy DeVito. But make no mistake, this is an Illinois team that's going to run the football. And that is, again, I mean, Toledo, they have a really good secondary. Maybe Illinois struggles to throw the football against this Toledo secondary that was really, really good last year. Toledo struggles to stop the run. I mean, 51st nationally with 4 yards per carry. They gave up over 150 rushing yards per game last year. And I remind you, that is in the MAC. That is not like Big Ten numbers. I struggled to see Illinois stopping the run game. And another question mark is, you don't have Chase Brown for Illinois. And I think that's getting a little bit too focused on for this Illinois team, because when you look at the offensive line, I think I could have a solid running numbers for this Illinois offense. You were talking about 3 or 4 guys who will be playing in the NFL next year. And Isaiah Adams, probably going to be a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. Julian Pearl, Zy Chrysler. You see Brett Bielema has developed this offensive line into an absolute road grading machine. And they're going up against a Toledo team coming from the MAC that already struggles to stop the run. So whether it's Reggie Love, whether it's Josh McCray, whether it's true freshman Caden Fagan, I don't really care who's running the football. I know I'm not trying to disrespect Chase Brown. Chase Brown was one of my favorite players. And again, 12 months ago was banging the table for Chase Brown to get a little bit more recognition. But I really think these are capable backs. Joshua McCray, just an absolute bowling ball. I think Toledo struggles with the physicality, and I think Illinois is going to be able to run the football in a meaningful way against Toledo. So getting to the pick, I mean, Illinois having to cover 9.5 points. I guess I'm a little confused by the number, because I think this Illinois team is going to be able to score. I think their strengths on offense match up against really well against what Toledo likes to do on defense, running the football consistently, scoring in the red zone. I don't see Illinois having a problem putting up 30, 35 points a game because of how well they'll be able to run the football. Now, the question mark for Illinois kind of heading into the whole 2023 season, and what you want to see for Illinois is, can you hit some of those explosive plays? Like, when you can run the football as well as Illinois can, you're going to see some loaded boxes. When those teams like Toledo, they'll have to load the box against Illinois, because if they only leave, 5-6 guys in the box, Illinois is going to have field. They just run all over it. So Toledo's going to kind of load the box. Can Illinois attack that deeper third? Can you get a guy like Pat Bryant or Malik Elzy or Isaiah Williams downfield to hit some explosive plays? And if they can, I mean, Illinois really could run away with this one, because, again, I struggle to see Toledo moving the football against an Illinois defense that I know you lose Ryan Walters. I know you lose a lot of guys in the secondary. I don't see them running the football in this front seven. And then you look at Illinois on the offense side of the ball. They're going to be able to run the football. And if Toledo does load the box, can you hit that deeper third? If they can do that, I mean, this should be an easy cover. And even if they struggle, I mean, I think Illinois still is going to be able to run the football effectively enough. Again, going back to the pick, this has nothing to do with me not liking this Toledo team. This is a Toledo team that's my pick to win the MAC this year. That being said, this Illinois team, extremely high on heading into 2023. You're seeing Brett Bielema's culture and the identity of this Illinois team really take off. And for those reasons, give me Illinois to cover the 9.5 points. Love that it's inside of 10. Really like this one. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.